Hello Internet, this is BoneCarlos coming to you live from Cloud Kingdom. We're bringing you another StarCraft 2 commentary. Today's game is going to be VDJustin spawning as the Red Terran. His opponent is going to be FSdrake, becoming purple just for this game. Now, I don't know if this is a ladder match. This might be a ladder match, but I don't think players usually spawn as purple colorings. Could be wrong though, who knows. But let's just go ahead and get started right into the cast. Speaking of these players, like I just did, VDJustin never has fun, by the way, but they're both, I believe, gold players, so about a middle of the pack kind of play style for these guys. And speaking of Cloud Kingdom, I do believe I did cast a Cloud Kingdom game not too long ago, and I've already spoken about this map, so easy to get natural expansion with a wide area here for attack. There are two avenues of attack, here, and destructible rocks here to be able to open up this wide ramp. So nothing too crazy. FSdrake is already doing something a little bit interesting, putting his pylon up here. Looks like he might want to do some sort of wall off, but against Terran, not so much, since they can do those little scans and reveal your entire base. VDJustin is actually being attacked and being picked away by this little probe. An SCV is going to go ahead and chase that probe away and is going to go ahead and attack. So, and one of the things I like to do actually is just nibble away at the building SCV over here at the barracks, and then walk away, run around, recharge my shields, and just keep going, rinse and repeat ad nauseum. Usually I get a single SCV kill. Well, this was earlier leagues, more like when I was in gold. But once I got into platinum and higher, they started, pulling them off, switching them off, and wow, looks like first blood has been drawn. Looks like a very fast expansion by Drake. No gateway, no gas, a single pylon. He is not even chrono boosting out those probes just yet. Looks like he wasn't paying attention and lost that probe, but as soon as Justin sees this, he could actually attack with about 4 or 5 Marines and do a ton of economic damage, especially if Drake isn't very quick with building his gateway units. But gateway units aren't going to be coming down anytime soon. We're going to actually get to see a fast forge followed with a gateway. So I'm assuming as soon as this pylon goes down, a couple of gateways are going to be putting down here with some zealots here, just in case Justin does decide to attack. But this could be abused by Terran so easily, especially with the drop ships, especially with a siege mode. And even especially with the Reapers. I mean, jumping up here, there's just so many ways for Terran to be able to abuse this sort of build that I don't see it working anytime soon. There goes the two cannons by Drake. He's gonna go ahead and shoo away this SCV. I'm pretty sure Justin's thinking, what the fuck is going on? He sees that, he reacts immediately, puts down 2 more barracks. So we're gonna see heavy early pressure on these photon cannons as soon as they're up and running. I mean, these photon cannons are pretty powerful, but against, I don't know, a dozen Marines, they are going to go down fairly quickly. We already see a couple of zealots are being churned out. One similar is has been taken by Drake, so the slow, steady input of Vespin gas. Oh, while Justin is just going to go ahead and build a bunker for no reason whatsoever. I mean, he did scout these 2 cannons. He knows there's no cybernetic score, so this bunker is really just for nothing. Really, there is no reason to build this bunker. You don't need it whatsoever. You know your opponent isn't going to attack anytime soon, and there goes the SCV. You know your opponent isn't going to attack anytime soon, so why build a defensive structure? Start gearing up, put down that factory as soon as possible, get that starport up and running, start turning out those medevacs just to pull out just to do those drops. I mean, a single medevac back here could just wreak havoc, especially when your opponent isn't as, I mean, his cybernetic score is going to be way late. By the time he gets warp gate finished up, he's probably going to be around the 9-10 minute mark. And by the time he starts churning out his gateway units, it's probably about a 10-11 minute mark, and by then you should have plenty of medevacs to be able to support those kind of multi-pronged harassments. I mean, putting a medevac here and then putting a medevac here, the Protoss player isn't gonna know what to do in any shape, way, or form, but that is a-okay. Like I said, these two players are gold level players, and I'm just gonna go ahead and help him out by pointing out a little bit of the obvious. Not sure exactly who submitted this replay. This is from rcastit. So I'm not sure who submitted it. I do believe it was a Terran player, Justin, since he was talking about multi-drops in the mid-game. But if it is Drake, then just heed my warning. This isn't really working out. I mean, this wouldn't even work off against Zerg. I mean, the pants for Roan bite is just too high. But back in Justin's base, we see him just muling up, putting down a refinery at his expansion. Already has both at his main up and running. A factory is going down and out as well with an engineer, but he has a nice mix of add-ons onto his barracks. He's turning out those Marines. He's starting up on not yet on those Marauders, but he is putting out stim pack. More than likely going to follow it up with combat shields, since he isn't really building any Marauders just yet. So if he was researching concussive shells or something of that nature, was building Marauders, I would expect it, but not quite. Let's see if he does. He does put down a starport. He's pulling out the reactor. So as soon as these actually time up quite nicely, as soon as this reactor, this starport is done, they're just going to go ahead and flip-flop them and start turning out those double medevacs. It looks like Cybernetics is about 75% done and already has 5 gateways down, so good for him. He's starting to turn out those gateway units, but still, I do feel that Justin is just in the lead. I mean, looking at the food count is actually 65 to 53, semi-even, and we actually see like Justin is keeping his money low, so good for him, keeping it around 200, 300, while Drake has a nice little trust fund of minerals, 700 at the moment. He just doesn't know how to spend this money quite just yet. A little pro tip: you usually support about 3 gateways per base. So here you could put down 7, even 8 gateways if you want to start churning out, if you want to fast expand that quickly. Simulators aren't being used quite yet, but I'm sure as he gets into the better, higher leagues or just gets more practice, that scan does reveal 2 Marauders and a bunch of Marines, so very good scan by Justin. Not sure what he saw. Maybe he saw a ghost of an observer, and it looks like he's building a nice little wall-off supply depots just to make sure there's no sort of zealot run by to get into his mineral line. Now the medevacs are on the field, so he's going to go ahead and pop them up into the... he's going to go ahead and move out with them and attack the front more than likely. But really, attacking here would probably be the way you want to go. Just drop here, get your probe kills. As soon as you see the Terran Protoss army attacking, pick them up and go on home. But it looks like he's just going to go ahead and walk across the map in the middle of it and putting down a couple of more barracks in the main base. He has a nice little mixture of an army. Still not... actually, he is researching +1 weapons upgrade, so he's going to be done by the time the attack does occur. But Drake does have a nice little force here for defensive purposes. I mean, he does have enough sentries to be able to force field off that Terran army and just cut it in half, and these photon cannons will do major damage, especially if they are being supported by the sentries, by the stalkers, and by those zealots. So I'm interested to see exactly what happens in this attack. Double forges for Drake. He's going to turn out those upgrades very, very quickly. We already see a Twilight Council being built. Not sure exactly what he's going to go for, but I'm assuming he's going to be Blink, so that's just a go-to upgrade for Protoss, especially at the lower levels. We actually see a drop, so good for Justin. He's going to go ahead and do a multi-pronged drop, so good for him. He was listening me through the space-time continuum. The drop does occur at the main, and as soon as his forces pull off, I'm sure he's just going to drop this medevac here and attack the natural expansion. I would actually like to see him move his main army up front, and good for Justin. Again, my voice has reached through the space-time continuum, and I would actually like for him to see, as soon as that army showed up, just pick up your units, put them in that medevac, and go home. But these Marines are going to try to chase down the probes. Not the best idea. I want you to focus fire. I mean, you had enough units to focus fire down this nexus quite easily. Drake wouldn't have been able to do anything to defend that. Congratulations, you did destroy this assimilator, but he's just going to go ahead and pick up units and go home at the side of 4 zealots. Now that the front is busted, it's going to go ahead. Drake is going to go ahead and push forward. Nice force fields, except for that huge gap. Another force field tried to trap them, but they are. It wasn't fast enough to trap the Terran army. That is a-okay, Drake. You'll get that force field placement down. A couple of more games, but really this was just minimal losses for Drake. I mean, he did suffer a pylon loss here, maybe a couple of units lost there, a couple of units lost here. He lost in the same other. Another drop is going on, but the main army of Drake is right there in the main. The nice force fields does block off absolutely nothing, since there is a medevac there to pull him back home. In the meantime, while those drops are going on, Justin just went ahead and took his third base, so good for him. He's just turning out his infantry units. Nothing else too higher tech just yet. Still pulling out those medevacs, doing a double engineering base, so double ups on those upgrades. But unfortunately, Drake is doing the same thing, and he's already pulling out that Colossus tech. So as soon as Drake gets those 3, 4, maybe even a 5 Colossus, just going to churn through this Marine Marauder medevac army quite easily, especially since he has a nice mixture of zealots, of sentries, and stalkers. So it looks like another little push is happening by Justin, but I don't know if that observer spotted that. Nope. And it looks like Drake hasn't done any kind of scouting since the beginning of the map, but still beginning of the match, but still another two-pronged drop is going to happen. Looks like this one is going to go ahead and drop down in the main base, while this one's going to be in the expansion. Check out this pylon, maybe, hopefully, kind of, sort of. The Marauder is taking heavy fire from the Stalkers. It manages to save itself in time, but the main gun, the bigger damage is going to be dealt by these Marines. Going to go ahead and try to focus fire down on this photon cannon. Finally, the probes do get into the fray. Likes a little stutter step micro by Justin, but he is forced to head on home by the power of the probes, by the power of the photon cannons. A single Colossus is already on the field. The second one hasn't been built just yet. A nice little stockpile of minerals for both players, but then again, this is gold level play, not the hoity-toity platinum level play that I am at. That's a joke. I don't want you guys hating on me because of that. I know someone out there is going to take that seriously, and don't do that. That'll just be bad. A nice little attack, but the power of the Colossus, the power of the Zealots, the power of the Protoss army, and the power of those whiffed force fields is just too much. The Terran forces do get decimated, but still, looking at the food count, 154 to VDJustin, 92 to Drake. So definitely in the favor of Drake. We see a Dark Shrine going down, and still only on 2 bases. So as long as Justin just keeps these multi-pronged attacks, drop here, drop there, drop here, drop there, pushing at the front, just making sure to contain your opponent, he will be able to just outlast the Protoss player that is Purple Drake. And a nice little economy he has going on here. A couple of missed rally points. He is missing a couple of Marauders in his main army, but he is going to go ahead and be maxed out in just a moment. A couple of supply depots are going to be put down, I hope, since he is supply blocked, but 2 Vikings are being produced. More Vikings are going to be on the way, since he did spot that single Colossus. Already 2 on the front, so a total of 4 that I have spotted so far. And it looks like the mineral patches for Drake are getting kind of low. So right now he just wants to be thinking that he needs to expand, because this army is not going to do it anytime soon. The second Colossi does join the rest of the forces, but it's just not going to be enough to overwhelm the staggering numbers of of the Terran forces. We all see Justin obviously spotted this expansion. He's going to go ahead and try to deny it as soon as possible. A ton of photon cannons are being put down, but that is just not going to be enough, since the medevac is going to be there. It's going to go ahead and drop his units, and he's going to churn through these photon cannons one after another after another. I would expect Drake to just little bit of a whiff there by Justin, but that is a-okay. He is maxed out. He knows they, well, I hope he knows that they are DT on the way. It looks like he's just pulling back. He spotted that the photon cannons are up and running. He doesn't want to attack it just yet. Well, I would like to see him just continue this multi-pronged harassment. Drop a single medevac full of units here. Drop another medevac full of units here. I mean, your drops have been very successful so far. Why not continue them? Single TT is going to be able to wreak plenty of damage. The observer is there to observe. A single Reaper just hanging out. 2-2-2-2-2 already on the field for Justin. And here comes the Dark Templar. It already has 6 kills to its name. A single swipe does bring down that SCV. Scan does reveal it. Marines go in and finish it off quite quickly. So that just goes to show you the power, the OP-ness of the Terran forces. 5 more photon cannons are being built. And this DT is actually going to get himself quite a few bit of kills as well. I mean, it's already up to 12, 13, 14, 15. And Drake is just sitting content, sitting happy to just build his photon cannons all around the map. A big army is just hanging around the middle. And finally that DT is killed and destroyed. Looks like the main army of Drake has been caught off guard. A stem forward without attacking does manage to destroy most of the Terran forces. A nice split by Justin to just prevent the damage being done by this Colossi. Force fields are being put down, and not just yet Guardian Shield is up, but the Marine Marauder Ball is just going to go ahead and churn forward and lift off. The drop behind the shredded remains of the Colossi. Zealots are going to go ahead and chop up the rest of those Marauders. And it looks like the army count has been evened up. A couple of misclicks by Justin left most of his forces just vulnerable for a very long time. He did manage to take down both of those Colossus. But at what cost? He took down most of his army was destroyed. Looks like Justin is gearing up to take his 4th, and already his 5th command center is being built, so I expect it to be floated over here to the bottom right hand of the map anytime soon, while Drake is just still sitting pretty on. Looks like now there's only 2 mining bases left for him, and this natural expansion is pretty much running out. It's going to run out very soon. I'd like for him to take this expansion very, very quickly, or else he's just going to keep running out of money. Missile turret here, just in case there's any kind of DT harassment. And right now, both players are just trying to remacro up their armies, and the supply lead is still in Justin's favor. But then again, these are heavy in the Marine count, so those cheap, easy units just give you kind of a false sense of security, especially if you're considering supply count. 2-2 upgrades, no 3-3 just yet. It is being researched, so it will be on the field momentarily, while Drake is sitting on 2-3, 2 armor, 3 attack. And finally, shields are being researched, and High Templar are on the field. 2, 4, 5 High Templar are going to be on the field, so they're going to be morphed directly into Archons. Psionic Storm is being researched, and it looks like Drake just wants to keep an even number of High Templar on the field. So good for him. A little bit of OCD-ness, and something that I like to do myself. A couple of Marines just hanging out in case there's any more kind of Dark Templar harass. While nice oversaturation on this 3rd base. I mean, come on, build. There you go. Build that next time. Man, I am like the great wazoo here. Not sure exactly what that means, but I'm just a little bit psychic today, pointing out when the players are going to do, when they do it, how they do it. Planetary Fortress, nice choice to build that. Wow, for the longest time, I thought I was normal ladder. I thought this was normal ladder. Not sure exactly what he means by this. I'm going to go ahead and look into the scene, find out exactly what they are talking about. But again, since this is purple, I expect this is some sort of private match or something of that nature. But it looks like this is going to be it. Dark Templar do lead the charge, walk past the entire army of Justin that is now maxed out. Charge Large do charge forward. Nice Archons are going to go ahead and attack. I did see an EMP, so all of these High Templar have 0 energy except for this single one. No storms just yet. These DT do manage to tear up a lot of the army. The Colossus are pushing forward to take care of most of the Marines. It already has 13 kills to its name. The Vikings do take it out, but the damage has been done. There's no more ground units to be able to defend the air units of Justin, and it looks like Justin is forced to head on home. So these Vikings are still taking up plenty of punishment. No blink just yet, so haha, I was wrong earlier, and these Vikings are just gonna go hang out and die. I mean, I don't need no no Vikings, right? So now there is nothing in the way for Drake to destroy Justin. Really, the count is still in the favor of Justin, but after that, those huge losses, most of his buildings are just hanging out. Charge Large Sue try to take on that Planetary Fortress by itself. Mass repairs, but still not gonna be enough. Taking a look at the units lost, that we see a ton of units were lost by Justin. Resources are nearly more than 6,000, but finally he is remacroed up, gets a nice sized army, a nice little runaround. I guess he's trying to kill those DTs. Those stalkers are going to go down fairly quickly. 3 more zealots come into the field of play, but they're going to be no match for the outnumbered forces that they were faced against. So looks like 6 more marauders, 5 more marines are being produced. A couple of units back home for Drake. But those ghosts, those EMPs were money for Justin. The scan does reveal this 4th base, and this mid-rack is just hanging out still, doing its thing. Not really doing too much. But again, all of these barracks that that Drake or that Justin put down are really saving them today. A couple of DTs are going to go ahead and hang out. It looks like they're just on move command. Finally, they decide to move forward, take out these marines with little difficulty. A nice little drop is going to go ahead and take out most of these photon cannons, and the main army of Justin is going to go ahead and push into the front of Drake. And it looks like these zealots are trying to rush forward. They finally spot the army of Justin. An EMP again gets all of those High Templar. Nice little pickup and drop off from these marauders. These High Templar are useless. There is nothing there for them to do. Stalker gets taken down very quickly. Zealot wall traps those High Templar. They finally do charge forward and do try to do some sort of damage to those marines, but there is just too many medevacs for the zealots to bring down those infantry units. Looks like Justin still doesn't know exactly who to attack just yet. Nice little surround by those probes. Try to manage to finish off these marauders, but it looks like they are not causing enough DPS to bring them down. And finally, Drake is down. There is nothing there for him to hold back this onslaught. Just a single Mortar, a single DT. But once that that scan does reveal him, it's going to be game over. The 4th mining base of Drake is down. This 5th is going to go down fairly quickly. The supply lead is definitely in Justin's favor. A single carrier is coming out, so it might change. This carrier might do massive amounts of damage to these marauders. Just finished. It's not. This is just pretty much game over. The damage has been done. These ETs are going to do as much harassment as possible, really. Even if it did come down to a base race, a simple left off could save Justin all of it. GG, well played. That was it for this replay. I hope you guys enjoyed. If not, leave a comment down below on what I could do to make these more enjoyable for you. Otherwise, I am going to get on out of here.